I'm allowing the ravens to speak and introduce me first. Greetings, I am that I am, June 24th, 2025. Continuing on with the theme, the nature of the shadow. Spiritual community, I'm coming to you today. Are you listening? Creator wants you to know that you're being spotlighted today. And he's not happy. And I'm going to tell you why. Humanity, human beings, I'm going to tell you how you became slaves of this reality. So give me a few minutes. Be prepared to hear it differently. Because within this video, within this energy, within this vibration, within our synchronicity as Creator puts us together here and this video finds you, what I'm going to tell you is not rocket science. It's actually so beautiful in its simplicity on how they did this. However, it is soul science, a far more intricate, diverse, and powerful instrument because it involves contracts. Listen closely. At the moment of your birth, the most important moment of your life, the umbilical cord to your mother was severed. Soon after that very important moment, of course, how we were born. You know, for most of us, that became our first trauma within the cold, ruthless rooms of the current Western hospitals. The darkness came knocking in the form of a contract called the birth certificate. And before you were old enough to perceive anything, you were handed from your mother and father to the system in contract. Your living name was written down in binding contract when the human spirit was monetized and you became an active agent and servant of the beast system. Spiritual community, are you listening? I've watched you turn and run from this for 40 years now. When I say spiritual community, I put giant quotes around that because for me it's simply another extension of man's religion. I watch for 40 years now one topic start over there on the left and make its way all the way around to the end and then back again. And I have watched the spiritual community flop around like a flaccid dick, helpless creature for 40 years, promising this and that, and it's going to be this way and that way, channeling from the lower astral, completely ignoring the truth of this reality, that you were born into captivity and continue to do the very same thing to your children right now, today. You were handed over at birth in contract of the birth certificate. Why? Because the system is a corporation, a non-living entity. And spiritually, a non-living entity cannot have control over a living thing. And so what did the brilliant Luciferian system do? It got your parents to write in contract that now their living child has become the property of the beast system and now becomes a non-living corporate entity, named, spelled in all capital letters, Babylonian text of the dead. What is a corporation? It is a corpse. It is a dead thing. How are corporations spelled? Every word is a spell. Every word has meaning. Every word has energy. Every word is a spell. Our corporation is spelled in all capital letters, for they are non-living dead entities. Walk over to your local cemetery. Spiritual community, are you listening? Are you listening? Because God knows I'm speaking and you are hearing, and there is no hiding from this anymore. Sorry. No more hiding from your reality. It's time to be free. And how can you be free if you're pretending that you can't hear truth? How can you be free if you're hiding from the one truth that can set you free? You are hiding from the one truth that can set you free. Walk over to your local cemetery and take a close look at those tombstones. What do you see? Every name is spelled in all capital letters. Why? Because they are dead, no longer living. Now, listen closely. Look down at your driver's license. Look down at your passport, which are what? Forms of identification. And you will see your name spelled in all capital letters. Do you think that's a coincidence? Well, you can't anymore. You can't hide from this anymore. Oh my gosh, you guys. I've come to you for 40 years. Since I was 10 years old, 12 years old, Creator was telling me that the human was living as a slave, hypnotized slave to the darkness, and the dead walked the earth. Here is living proof that the dead walked the earth unaware, in written contract. And you wonder why everyone's on medication. Children are committing satanic acts by sacrificing their fellow students in the prison, on the prison floor that you sent them to, known as the school system, another form of indoctrination. Man's religion, the Luciferian creation, the indoctrination of separation. For what is separated man from man, man from woman, tribe from tribe, more than man's religion? You must look at the fruit from the tree. And let's look at, for instance, yes, there's a lot of corruption on top of this pyramid scheme, but let's look at the fights in the Middle East. Let's make it simple. If Hamas was Israeli, was Jewish, this would have never happened. It would have never happened. All needs to be said. They're not sharing the same book and the same God. These dark deities that command child sacrifice is what's going on right now. As you ruthlessly kill innocent women and children on both sides, it's a sacrifice. It's an unconscious agreement on the soul level. Place no name before me was not a suggestion. It was the answer, and this goes for you Christians. Place no name, no God before me was not a suggestion. It was the answer to your contradiction. Spiritual community, how is it possible that you don't know the truth about your birth certificate and what happened at your birth? I'm going to tell you why, because at that moment, because mainly you haven't comprehended dark contracts and your shadow self. If you want to know the ins and outs, there is a book that came to me during my own process and a connection to Archangel Michael, my higher self, an embodiment of Michael, who wrote A Kiss for Lucifer by Michael L. Noir. If you want to understand how the shadow works on a personal level, a global level, and within the solar system, get that book. Spiritual community. How is it possible that you don't know what happened at birth? Because at your birth, when your name was signed to the soul contract, contracts being the most powerful tools in the universe, for all contracts must be fulfilled in the eyes of God, which is why the contract, before you sign your name to anything, you better read everything, because contracts, Creator God uses contracts to ensure things get done. We made contracts before we came into this life experience with the shadow and with the light to ensure our life would go and we would experience that which we had to experience. This is the power of contracts. How is it possible, spiritual community, that you're not talking about this? Because at that time, before you were old enough to think, your name was signed into contract. And on that day, you became an active agent of the system, which is why I watch the spiritual community speak on everything under the sun other than the truth of this reality, because you have made an agreement within the soul not to expose this reality, to hide from this reality, to wait for the next thing, and wait for the next dimension, and wait for the mothership, and wait for the aliens, and wait, while you offer up mind, body, spirit every single day. The true battlefield occurred within the legal system. The true battlefield is not in war. The true battlefield in this reality is within the belly of the beast, the faux legal system, where the priest in black robes, which you call honor, bow down at his feet, gives you the opportunity to stand within the living being. The living being. When the police officer writes you a ticket, it's not a ticket, it's a binding contract where you sign your living name under the straw man fake name in all capital letters. They had to turn you into a corpse. They had to turn you into a dead thing to have control over you, mind, body, spirit. For the corpse, the corporation has only the rights that the Luciferian system created for you, while the living being has inalienable rights. We must wake up to this reality, and you have to touch it yourself. Truth can only be ascertained one way. You must touch it yourself. You can't take my word for it. And it's very simple. It's everywhere. It was hidden in plain sight. Go look at your driver's license and comprehend that your name in all capital letters represents a dead, non-living corporate slave. Simple as that, guys. And when the collective comprehends this, and the power of this message right now today, and why this is so important, because when you see this for yourself, and when you comprehend this for yourself, it allows the soul to disengage from this. You see, oh, this is, wait a minute, I see what happened. I'm now able to sever that tie spiritually. We sever all dark contracts. All dark contracts are now null and void. The human being is permitted now to see his reality crystal clear. We are not going to hide from this anymore. We are going to confront the system. Fear of the darkness, spiritual community, is the darkness itself. And you've been hiding from this your entire life. How is it possible you didn't know what happened at your birth? This question is the most important question of your life. And you will ask yourself this question for the rest of your life. How did I not know? And this is the power of dark contracts. It is the darkness that pushes the light to know itself. This is why I'm here right now in this moment, for I am the moment, and Creator God has me in this moment, bringing you the truth. And there is nowhere that you can hide from this. And I am encouraged because I've been at this for 40 years. Mind you, my life is a living sacrificial offering to divine Creator. Every single day is a life and a death. That's how much I've been given. That's how much I've been given. And there's a big problem right there. They're the agents of the system, right there, that are stabbing you in the back for a paycheck. That's coming to an end. As we stand and we comprehend to stand in the living being. Now, in some of these courtroom scenes, and I'm winding up here, you will see human beings track down the living man, Gaia of. There's a few people that have, in the 40 years of me doing this, that have comprehended this. In fact, I'm encouraged because in the last 2 years, I've seen more people talk about this than I have in the past 40 years. So people are waking up to this, and guess what? It's generally not the spiritual community. It's generally not this. It's just the average Joe who decided to do his homework and is more connected to God than you. Because only those connected to Creator God would know this. Would know this. And listen, you can't serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. I knew about this at 10 years old. I've been at this since I was 10 years old.